Do you find, I have sort of two questions about this sort of subjects that, when you're dealing with sort of ordinary people or people who aren't accustomed to having attention paid to them, do you find that there's, I'll drop the Janet Malcolm hammer, which is, I know you've thought about this a little bit, but she has this great, this great opening to her book, The Journalist and the Murderer, which says, every journalist who is not too stupid or too full of himself to notice what is going on knows that what he does is morally indefensible. He is a kind of confidence man, preying on people's vanity, ignorance, or loneliness, gaining their trust and betraying them without remorse. And so I think I think about that all the time, just as sort of, it's like an unavoidable part of the process, right? Because you are taking something from someone and using it for your own ends, but I think it can be even tougher to negotiate that with people who are less aware of what's happening.
Absolutely.
So how do you think about that, or how do you work out that relationship?
Yeah, and also, in addition to what you just said, people who stand to gain nothing by it. I mean, if you're writing about a celebrity, what they gain is, free press. And so they are getting something. And I don't know if this has happened to you, but it's happened to me a number of times where people in total, there's nothing shocking about it, but they will say, what are you going to pay me to talk to you? And, I actually sometimes think, you know what, it's not so crazy.
That would be more fair in a way,
that it's a reasonable question, except I always say nothing, actually, because I can't, it wouldn't be right. But knowing that they could say, why wouldn't it be right? I'm telling you my story and you're getting paid to write it.
Right.
And my argument has always been, I think you'll enjoy having this written, which is also not always true either. It's a really difficult and constant part of being a journalist. And as much as that Janet Malcolm statement seems harsh, I think it's 100% true. That we are asking people to give us something, namely their confidence, their time, their vulnerability, and it's very complicated. Writing about kids really brings that home to you, because when I finished my reporting about Colin Duffy, and I'd spent every minute with him and was sort of his best friend for this stretch of time, and we had come to the point where I now had 1 week to write this story, and I was like, I am out of here. I've got to now go and write. And he said to me, are you coming to school on Monday? I think it was a Friday. He said, are you going to come to school on Monday? And I said, no. Because I was thinking, are you kidding? I've got to write my story now. And he was clearly wounded. And I thought, oh my God, I have been his best pal. We've had all this fun together. And this is the other part of it. As a journalist, you're like a therapist. You listen and ask for no listening in return. So what could be better? You're the perfect friend. And in this case, just seeing that look on his face of, I don't understand.
That was real to him, that relationship.
And now you're not coming back. And the fact is that that's true in every story I've ever written, to a greater or lesser degree, but certainly with some people that feeling is, well, now you're leaving. And also the fact is, you have to steel yourself because you know that they may not love the story, and that there may be hurt feelings. And if you can't do that, then you can't be a journalist.